Boston. I big dig each and every ong of your taverns. These towny caverns where both blue and white collar gather to holler out their dreams. You know what I mean, Bean? Look out your myriad windows, baby. Big dig the scene of all those who, like me, fell in love with you so many years ago. Big dig them out there in the wintertime on your corners, freezing to death on your corners.
Good job.
Yeah. you. That was like the most amazing music to bring me in. First of all, I just want to welcome everyone here. Thank you all for coming tonight. This is the Get Lit After Work series we've been hosting at Faneuil Hall. So some of you may not know that Boston is the first city in the country to host an official literary cultural district devoted just to the literary arts. This is an area that runs roughly from the Boston Public Library in Copley Square through the Public Garden and Beacon Hill. Because not only does the hub have an unparalleled literary history with local writers ranging from Phyllis Wheatley to Henry David Thoreau to Sylvia Plath, having spent time in Boston, it also boasts an unparalleled literary presence with institutions like Grub Street, where I'm an instructor and Reggie's an instructor. We've got the Boston Book Festival, Emerson College, Suffolk, showcasing the writers of today and nurturing the writers of tomorrow. The mission of the Boston Literary District is to raise the visibility of Boston's rich history and vibrant present-day scene through partnerships, like the partnership we have with the Faneuil Hall Marketplace, and public programs like this Get Lit series. Yes. And so tonight, for our second to last installment of Get Lit After Work, I am pleased to welcome Regie Gibson, a National PoetrySlam Champion, songwriter, author, and educator. Regie will be joining us with members of the band, the Regie Gibson Project. Regie Gibson has lectured and performed in the US, Cuba, and Europe. Representing the United States, Regie competed for and received the Absolute Poetry Award in Malfacone, Italy. Himself and his work appear in Love Jones, a feature film based on events in his life. Did you know that? He's featured on HBO, 3 TEDx events, and was nominated for a Boston Emmy. He's received both an MCC Poetry Award and has composed texts and poems for the Boston City Singers, the Mystic Chorale, and Boston's Handel and Haydn Society. Ladies and gentlemen, grown-ups and children, please put your hands together for Regie Gibson!
Thank you so much, Alicia, for having me and us, and also to Faneuil Hall Marketplace and to WGBH and everybody who's here tonight. You crazy people who believe words mean something. Yeah. I am originally from Chicago, and we'll talk about that at some point. But when I first got here to Boston, I was not in love with the place. It seemed forbidding and foreboding. And then for about 10 years, I felt, and then something happened. I started falling in love with the place. You know, maybe that's what real love is like. It comes on slow. It doesn't hit you right off the bat. And so this, I guess, is for the city that I never thought I'd be writing this poem for. This is called Boston. A very reluctant love poem. And to do this correct, I must get into my Emersonian transcendentalist stance. Boston. Oh, Boston. I dig you, baby. No, I more than dig you. I big dig you. Big dig how every night you make the stars and street lamps gang fight for the right to light you. Big dig you, you bean pot of asphalt, glass, and rubber, that cute little way you have of making both clean hands and dirty work your lover. How every year you go once more unto the academic breach with your army of educators fighting to teach your hard-headed students. Some of who get froggily, goggly at night, working late by dim desk light to scale the menacing heights of your formidable scholastic walls. Boston. I big dig each and every ong of your taverns. These towny caverns where both blue and white collar gather to holler out their dreams. You know what I mean, Bean? Look out your myriad windows, baby. Big dig the scene of all those who, like me, fell in love with you so many years ago. Big dig them out there in the wintertime on your corners, freezing to death on your corners. From Mattapan to Wonderland, Jamaica Plain to the Cambridge border. Big dig them out there in your streets, in their cars, getting lost on your streets. If streets are what these really are, I am starting to believe you when you tell me these are really paved over cow paths that somehow seem to have some laughable sort of chaotic order. Boston, girlfriend, baby, we need to talk. See, I have noticed lately that as you and I take a walk along the common, you seem to have this inordinately Brahmin-like need for power. The need to seethe and glower at the human race through a face wet and beset with 17th century sweat. And you really seem to like telling people, no, 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 not you and not yet. And when I first got here back in the early days and didn't quite understand your wicked, wicked ways, that made me upset. And I admit, I still get more than a little bit miffed at the fact that your state house never seems to miss nor lack new ways in which to tax. Or whenever I would want to call you to complain about it, your phone was never on. Or whenever I would want a blue, green, orange, and red line swing to get in my groove on and blow off a little steam, your T-trains would refrain at 1 in the morn. 1 in the morn? Come on! But then would come the dawn, when your freshly coffeed head begins its rattle and hum, and I can't stay mad at you for long, especially when I can feel you stirring next to me, yawning awake by yonder light that breaks out of Eastie, piercing as fiercely as the bleating of bagpipes and the beating of Afro-Celtic drums. Boston. You are one curious mix of Beacon Hill, Will, and Mass Ave muscle. Dot Ave bustle and Calm Ave moan. Washerwoman, student, and cab drivers hustle, singing your freshly minted immigrant songs inside of these crazy, amazing, oncoming days of giftedly drifting New England snow. So yeah, Boston, I dig you. Even though there are days you could be a real pain in the back, bae, I got to say, I big dig you. Big dig your artists and writers, musicians, designers, and these crazy, crazy poets like myself who you somehow keep on inviting or creating. Like some seriously therapy-needing mother whose love both nurtures and smothers her children and others, even though all the while your dirty water keeps on breaking. I want to welcome you guys down here. Try to make this a poetry party. So if you should feel the need to get up and say, hey, brother, yes, do that, do that, do that. It's all good. Got some guys with me who I want you to know. And a little bit of instruction. And we are coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. Now we don't want to pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, then you out of here. I got Najim in the back, getting funky on the trap. Steve on the bass, blowing up the whole space. I got Steve on the 6th string, weaving the whole thing. I'm on the microphone, about to rip it to the bone. What is happening is a phenomenon. Unusual fusion of music and lexicon. This ain't no accident. Too many nights are spent gigging and digging in it to make it hit. Working and rehearsing both the music and the versing. So when we take the stage, we can rampage. Escape from the cage and the craze of the age. Persuade all of you to engage. We hope to jack it up, break it down and back it up. And if we couldn't back it up, forget it, we would pack it up. But so we promise is to keep the music coming till the management says to chill. Or until the clientele tells us to go to hell. Asking us to not return because we don't fit the bill. But so that won't happen, let this show us make a deal in Latin. A quid pro quo. You keep it cranked up, we'll keep it cranked up. You like it funkified, we'll keep it stanked up. You like it low down, we'll keep it clamped up. But if you like it live, that's what's up. Head coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. We don't want to pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, then you're out of here. I said coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. We don't want to pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, then you're out of here. Hit it! promiscuous, you never know within each show just what you gonna get. A classical, poetic, or a modern aesthetic, a Homer's Iliad, clad in mad, urban frenetic, you might have read it. But when the music's injected, the 4/4 keeps the message aimed and directed. The rhetoric will hit you like a new dialectic, and something happens in the psyche that you never expected. The left and right hemispheres unite to make it clear. Human creativity is something which can endear each to each other as sisters and brothers here in this space and place that will one day disappear. Cause tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps at its petty pace to the last syllable of recorded time. Music, art, history, religion can transmute this temporal condition into something that survives with two contexts intersect and combine. An aha moment happens, quickening the mind into reverential states like the kind you find when Old Testament mystics kicking it with the divine. 1, 2. This is the place to be. This is the nexus of the past and antiquity. And if you can't dig that, you might as well get running. Cause we gon' keep this thing coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. We don't wanna pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, you out of here. I said coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. We don't wanna pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, then you out of here. Hit it. How's everybody feeling? Y'all okay? If you don't know how you feeling, just take a quick second and feel yourself. Check in. Make sure everything is there. Make sure everybody is cool, even on a hot day like this. I want to thank you for coming out to the poetry party, the Literary District Poetry Party, where we want to move your mind and your behind. Just give us the time. And I said, we are coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. We don't want to pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, then you out of here. I'm coming to you live from the theater in your mind. Give yourself a chance, you might have a good time. We don't want to pull rank, but we gotta be clear. You come to act stank, then you out of here. One more. Thank you. Being as tepid as I guess it is in here, I was thinking about how it must have been for our great-grand ancestors coming up off of the plains of the Serengeti or something, how we would gather in places like this, and we would, maybe not like this, but we was outside and half naked because it was hot. And for whatever reason, we started talking to each other about these things that we believe in. We started spinning these stories about things. I guess it was because life was tough, life was hard, and we realized that language was the way that brought us together because there was something out there in the darkness that had bigger eyes and bigger teeth and more fur and was faster than this small, insignificant primate trying to make its way on this blue-green stone. And so we clung to each other with word and with song, and we mimicked the heartbeat and became our music. And we wanted to find meaning in our own existence, and we created poetry. So I guess this is for us who do this. I'm going to ask you guys to do something that our ancestors must have done. They would give us some talk back, right? Someone would stand up in the tribe and would raise a hand, and people would scream or say something or do a dance move or whatever that was. So tonight, why don't we try that? When I do like this, I just want you guys to give me one word, one Anglo-Saxon interrogative gruntable. Yeah, you said it in your head. That word is what? Right? So let's try that. Okay, if you have a little problem with your rhythm, okay? Because some of us do suffer from RDD, rhythm deficit disorder. And that is a scourge, and we must try to get rid of that, okay? I got members of my class here who I've told them, if you lose your rhythm, what you do is you cross your legs, you do a mudra, and you say, please, Big Maybell, come hook me up. All right? Big Maybell is that black Pentecostal woman that exists at the center of every American. She will lead you to your rhythm, and to make sure that you're not afraid, she'll show up looking very much like Aretha Franklin. So, let's try this again. Okay, y'all ain't calling on Maybell. I can see that right now. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. So this is gonna be the refrain. It's let's take it back to the dawn of time, before technology tamed our minds, when a man took his hands and began to clap, and that was the beginning of the boom, boom, bap. Let's take it back to the dawn of time, before technology tamed our minds, when a woman started humming to an animal's call, and that was the beginning of the yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. It's like that, it's like that, it's like that, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Okay, it's like that. Let's give it to him, guys. Let's take it back to the dawn of time, before technology tamed the mind. A man took his hands and began to clap, and that was the beginning of the boom, boom, bap. Let's take it back to the dawn of time, before technology tamed the mind. A woman started humming to an animal's call, and that was the beginning of the yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. It's like that, way that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that. Once again, here we are again, needing to feel what it means to be skin. To feel a skull and die soul, get the road into poetry, music from the soul. We know the body has intelligence, the intellect cannot dismiss a consequence of biocultural experience. But let's take a trip and get a sense of what it means to be a human being. Back in a time that we cannot recall, ancestors drummed in the hum of night. Under these same stars, they believe for gods shining down as they dance by the firelight. Their bodies cast in shadows, voices crying, imitating animals they knew they would be hunting the next day to provide sustenance for the tribe. This was a ritual intended to recognize life is born of death, light, sunrise and set. Cycles from east and west, the drums would beat. Beat began to step, moving from right to left. The men left as the chants rose from the women's breath. This is why what we do calls the blood. It's been this way since we crawled from the mud. An ancient thing banging in the body and mind. We've been grooving to y'all since the dawn of time. So check it and take it back to the dawn of time, before technology tamed the mind. A man took his hands and began to clap, and that was the beginning of the boom, boom, bap. To take it back to the dawn of time, before technology tamed the mind. A woman started humming to an animal's call, and that was the beginning of the yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. It's like that, give me that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, give me all right? I'm loving this. So whether Irish or English or Spanish, Danish or Swedish or Polish, Russian or Turkish, Italian, German or Kurdish, Japanese or Assyrian, Javanese or Armenian, Portuguese or Hungarian, Hebrew, Zulu, Bavarian, no matter the tongue you speak, languages have a beat, the body instinctively can translate into music. See, what science has found is we are creatures of sound. Our ears need to seek rhythmic patterns in speech, like the words that I'm spitting, hear the rhythm that's in them, even before you get to hit of any content I'm kicking. You first think nothing of it but the verbal percussion, drums inside of you and then your blood begins rushing, pulses get to throbbing, head begins to bobbing, you feeling the effect that's what the rhythm has been plotting. It's gotten you to synchronize your alpha waves and realize that rhythm's more than musical, but structurally underlies each and every atom to plasma on Saturn. Every stage of matter's organized in patterns which are architectonic. Everything has a tonic, everything has a cycle, everything has a phonic. Life depends upon it, we're engineered to want it. This thing that remains, refrains, comes back, is chronic. This thing that haunts like a ghost in the mind we've been dancing with since the dawn of time. Check it, let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a man took his hands and began to clap, and that was the beginning of the... Oh, let's take it back to the dawn of time. Before technology tamed the mind, a woman started humming to an animal song, and that was the beginning of the yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all. It's like that, diggity that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, diggity that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like a that, diggity that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like a booka, that. I'll give you the words if you couldn't catch them. It's from a dear friend of mine who's no longer with us. His name was Kent Foreman. He asked me to continue to do his work for him after he left this plane. Kent was a very special dude to me. He came to me at a time when I was suffering from a disease. It was called my 20s. I see some of y'all sick right now, okay? It gets better, okay? Let me just say, man, it's a tough one. Ride that wave till it hits the beach, man. Keep on swimming. And I have some of my students who have yet to hit their 20s, but you know, you can make it on the other side of it. And like I'm saying, it was a malady that lasted me about 13 years. And I finally came out of it. So if you get lucky enough to find somebody to take an interest in you when you're probably not all that worth it, hang on to that person for a while. This is for my man, Kent Foreman, philosopher, beautiful human being, who none of you will get the chance to meet, and you have no idea how much poorer you are for that. Look, y'all, right now, everything is happening. Melodrama in Super Cinerama. Right now, somewhere, some child has fallen from some tree. Some philandering husband has just misplaced his key to the house, dreads the dreaded anger of his dreaded spouse. It's for him, and I want to know where you've been right now. Somewhere right now in some clothesline tenement yard, some drug abuser is in need of a fix. While the only thing somebody else has to eat is a bowl of Captain Crunch or Trix. Hey, times are hard right now. Somewhere love, somebody's got the blues. Lives in a world of deeper, darker hues than grottos tunneled into the bottoms of Italian aisles. And somewhere right now, trials is going on right now. On this very second, any humming highway, two speeding cars collide head on. While some cunning student of chess decides it's best to forfeit a pawn. For a night, somewhere else a fight. In an angry hand, a muzzle flashes. Border guards guard against other border guards guarding border clashings, and blood is gonna flow. Somewhere right now. Somewhere right now, there is some midwife overhearing some newborn babies indignant crying. And right now, somewhere, somebody is dying now. Right now, somewhere on some stage, some musicians are cooking. While somewhere else, somebody is brushing off their clothes, hoping to get a little bit better looking. For the vixens, fixing to get into something or the other. Somewhere else, chastity is not being defended all that bravely. Somewhere else, somebody with a rusted shovel is bent over, digging gravely now. Right now, somewhere, maybe even in this restaurant, this tavern tonight, somebody is high. Maybe a couple of somebodies is high. Somebody else has been eating Aunt Jemima's sweet potato pie. Dig. In a pool hall now, some loser is racking. At some tavern in Boston, some poet keeps on yakking. Right now, somewhere, some prim, elderly virgin overhears some dirty, dirty joke and smiles. And somewhere, some kid who only listened to hip-hop has put some headphones on and is digging the music of miles, of miles, of miles. Every time, all kinds of things are going on. At this millisecond or at some ancient dawn, I said right now, somewhere, some things is always going on. At this here millisecond or at some ancient dawn. What? How? Oh, dear dreamers. Don't you know the truth? That is, there is no other time than now, than now, than now, than now, than now, than right now. Oh. Thank you. That March day in Massachusetts, when the second-rate poet from Chicago went shopping, he never thought he would buy that black shirt, the one embroidered with that crazy Eastern motif, the one he knew was not his style, the one he thought he would only wear once, the one he did in fact only wear once, yes. The thing only worn once, hanging in the closet next to the other thing only worn once. His main thought was, wonder how this will look on stage tonight. He was vain that way. Likewise, when she of Belmont, Massachusetts, wore that cleavage-clinging pink halter top, an ultra-tight pair of black pants. You know, the outfit that screams, damn it, I'm a feminist with a master's degree in education, and I demand that men respect me for my mind. Yes, that one. She was only dressing for a comfortable night out with a girlfriend who ended up flaking on her at the last minute, leaving her to go out alone. She had never been anywhere alone. She had never been to a poetry reading before, and she almost didn't go this time. But then she did. She surprised us that way. Now, they did not expect to meet, much less fall into one another and walk that razor-blade-thin, spiderweb frail bridge sometimes built between two people on the verge of finding each other interesting. He was a man who had a rather profound liking for the ladies. All of them. Though he was surprisingly shy about women, especially that night. She, being from Massachusetts and thus a member of the Frozen Chosen, was a little more forward than usual that night. And somehow, this is apocryphal, as stories tend not to corroborate exactly, but it is generally understood that eventually they ended up at IHOP. And over a cup of coffee and a rooty tooty fresh and fruity, he thought, maybe. And she thought, maybe. As for you, well, you were not yet you. That is to say, you were you, potentially. But you were not yet this ever-parasitic tsunami of new discovery, fueled by laughter and lactation, leaving broken drinking glasses and ruined CDs in your wake. No. You were somewhere else, some small curved question mark, faint and forming at the end of some egg named future. Then they loved. And it was good. So they loved again. And during the August of one of those agains, the part of you that had been singing softly and sweetly and alone inside of her began to sense the part of you singing softly and sweetly and alone inside of him, which began to pull toward the part of you singing softly and sweetly and alone inside of her. And when those two soft, sweet, alone songs found each other, they began to grow and to swell and to sing into one song. You. And when the growing and the swelling and the singing were done, you were lifted from inside the soft dark of her, lifted into light, into scream, into breath. After that, he took the two of you into an empty room where no one could see you. Looked upwards at the ceiling, imagined the fluorescent lights to be some ocean of greater lights that smelled of salt water and village song in this land. And in the lands of which your ancestors came, he brought you like they did, close and trembling to his chest, told you what your name would be, thanked his now dead father for your safe passage, then asked for strength and guidance from whatever poet's hand authored all this. As I said, I am from Chicago. There's a story to that. As there always is when you live in Chicago. One of our original existential musics, blues. I was born in the Delta where the heat swelters and there's little shelter from the sun. It's a land where the Klan would just lynch a black man, take him up just to have a touch of fun. Now Mississippi state religion was violent racism, a condition deep as cancer in the bone. But since the slavery days and white crosses that blaze, it's been the place that my family calls home. Now my folks, they were hard hustlers, dirt poor side busters, never worked for goods and words. They were simple, not fools. They lived by 3 rules: love your family, love the land and the Lord. And at night they would sing in black southern English, a sound rich as Mississippi mud. It was the blues, you see, and it bit into me, and I can still feel it in my blood, and that's why I don't have the blues, 'cause I am the blues. I don't get the blues so much as I spit the blues. I don't sing the blues so much as I bring the blues. I don't have it, 'cause I am it. I am the blues. Now, my mama and my daddy couldn't take Mississippi, so they headed to Chi-Town. Seemed they got tired of picking other people's cotton and see there was no real good work to be found. They couldn't afford to bring me with them, so they made the decision to leave me with my grandmama for a while they both took jobs being wheels and cogs, flipping switches, pulling levers, and turning dials. Well, when times got better, they saved up a little bit of cheddar, and when they could, they sent for me. And my grandmama said, why don't the both of y'all just stay up north and let the baby boy be? Or my mama said, that's my son. I'ma come and get him. You wait and see. Well, that's how the blues first entered my life, y'all. The first 2 women I ever loved started fighting over me, and that's why I don't have the blues, 'cause I am the blues. I don't get no blues so much as I spit the blues. I don't sing the blues so much as I bring the blues. I don't have it, cause I am it. I am the blues. So my mama turned to my daddy and said, get out of bed. You and me, we heading back down south. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, and I can smell you've been drinking, but wash your face and go and rinse out your mouth. My daddy did what mama said. He got himself up out of bed, and they both got dressed and left the house. They got down to the car, opened the glove box, took out the map, a pencil, plotted the quickest route. But they drove all night and well into daylight, a straight 967 miles. When my mama saw her mama, she went and snatched me from her and said, you can't have her, this is my child. And then with me in tow, they jumped in that brown Torino, headed toward the streets of Chi-Town. Me on the back seat, my mama's arms around me, her singing me the blues all the while. That's why I don't have the blues, cause I am the blues. I don't sing no blues, and so much as I bring the blues, I don't sing the blues, but I can preach the blues. I don't have it, cause I am it. I am the blues. One more time. I don't have it, because I am it. I don't have it, because I am it. I don't have the blues, cause I am the blues. I don't get the blues so much as I spit the blues. I don't sing the blues so much as I bring the blues. I don't have it, cause I am it. I am the blues. Thank you. There is another one of America's existential musics. It is country. One of the greatest songwriters we have ever produced is Mr. Johnny Cash. Mr. Johnny Cash, it's funny how poems come together. I was teaching Mr. Johnny Cash to my oldest boy, Jordan, and I also taught him later to my youngest, McKenna. And I was like, this is why you need to understand who this guy is. He has a song. It's called One Piece at a Time. Anybody know it? Okay, one person. YouTube it. It's interesting. What's happening with it is there's a protagonist in this song who happens to work inside of a Cadillac factory. The problem is that he cannot afford the fruits of his own labor. So what the gentleman decides he's going to do is he's going to abscond, steal a Cadillac, and guess what he's going to do? He's going to do it one piece at a time. Now, what's going on at that time when that was happening? There was this thing about the mosque at Ground Zero. Anybody old enough to remember that? Except that it wasn't really a mosque, and it wasn't really at Ground Zero, but why let the truth get in the way of political posturing? Something tells me that truth getting in the way of politics is probably going to happen again. But anyway, don't know why I think that. So, in listening to that, I was listening to the radio verse, and it seemed like it was trying to say, who has the right to be an American? What does that mean? And I was like, wait a minute, these guys sound like they're the ones who are the arbiters of what it means to be the inheritors of what this country is about. Instead of understanding that this is lava which has yet to cool.
Yeah.
So, that hit me and that hit me, and I'm like, you know, it struck me. Our country is a lot like that song. That One Piece at a Time song, because that's kind of how this is built. Now, as you move further into the song, he puts the car together after 20 years. And he starts it up and he rolls it down the street. And somebody on the street goes, dude, what kind of car is that? And he goes, well, it's a 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and he keeps going to the 1970s. And I'm like, yes, that's this country. Made up of all of these disparate parts that probably shouldn't fit together. But somehow it does. And somehow this vehicle has been sort of on the road for a few hundred years now. And we try not to get it to crash. So I guess this is for us. This melting pot, I guess, we're becoming. From some people's perspective, they say it's becoming an ever-browning America. From my perspective, it's becoming an ever-whitening America. Maybe we'll meet somewhere in the middle. So this is for my tribe. There's 300 and some odd million of us. If you don't mind, sir. Now I was at this one fancy coffee store next to a woman with looks I'd never seen before, but she seemed to have much charm and style and grace. Well, she steps to the counter and she orders a drink. It was an iced cappuccino with soy, I think, but I was preoccupied trying to surmise her race. Well, it seemed she wasn't quite white, she wasn't quite black, she wasn't quite this, she wasn't quite that. In fact, I guess she wasn't quite anything, I suppose. Now, I didn't want to harass her or come off crass, but the question was burning, and I had to ask, and she said, save your breath, I can guess what you want to know. See, everywhere I go, folks stare at me, trying to decode what I'm supposed to be. But truth is, mister, calculating me ain't so easy as you can see. So since you got the interest, I'll take the time and keep that question from smoking your mind. Just buy my coffee, and I'll tell you what I be. So I said, no sweat. That's a bet. I'm always curious to know what I don't know yet, and for me, that's worth a cup of Joe, or maybe even two. So I reached in my pocket, pulled out the money, paid for the coffee, and said, there you go, honey. Now sit down, girl, tell me, what in the world is you? Well, that's when she took a deep breath. And she goes, well, a Jew, Italian, Haitian, Dominican, African, Asian, Mexican, Puerto, Nigeria, Brazilian's what I am. And I'm meant to fit like a patchwork quilt. And from my sweat this country's built. But keep it simple, stupid, call me American. Now you can just call me American. You can just call me American. Though sometimes I ain't quite sure just what that means. But from sea to shining sea, there are 300 million me's. Red, white, and blue, and every in between. Tell me something, Steve. Y'all feeling it? Yeah. It's another heartbeat. I like that. Get my hoedown on. I've never done that quite this way. I got the wrong hat. I got my anti-hoedown hat. Okay, all right. So, after all that, me and her, We rapped a we about democracy, about what makes ours different than them ancient Greeks. We broached subjects most folks would tell you is taboo. We talked about love, religion, and politics, the Taliban and the Dixie Chicks, Democrats, Republicans, and them green rainbows too. We spoke about President Barack Obama, joked about Congress and all that drama, and wondered whether or not our economy is really bouncing back. About whose fault it's going to be when our climate changes of trucks and such and good shooting ranges, and why I prefer a PC but she likes a Mac. Yep, we yacked so much we lost track of time. And though we differed, we began to find that she and I was quick-lie becoming friends. Man, she looked at her watch and said, gotta run. Thanks for the talk, I've enjoyed it, hon. Who can say maybe one day we'll see each other again. Then as we both shook hands, said no more, she grabbed her purse, headed toward the door. That's when some dude looking real confused comes over real slow. He's like, say buddy, seem like you know that woman. You mind very much if I ask you something? I said, save your breath, I can guess what you want to know. And that's when I took a deep breath. And I went, well, you Italian, Haitian, American, African, Asian, Mexican, Puerto Nigerio, Brazilian's what she am. And she's meant to fit like a patchwork quilt. And from her sweat this hit country's built. But keep it simple, stupid, call her American. Now you can just call her American. You can just call her American. Though sometimes she ain't quite sure just what that means. But from sea to shining sea, there are 300 million she's. A red, white, and blue, and every in between. Give me one more hit, man. Now you can just call us Americans. Just call us Americans. Though sometimes we ain't quite sure just what that means. But from sea to shining sea, there are 300 million we's. A red, white, and blue, and every in between. I said red, white, and blue, and every in between. A red, white, and blue, and every in between. Henry Thoreau told civilization, yo, I got to go, baby. I need a vacation. So he headed out to Walden, whereupon he copped this revelation. Whoa, so many of us live lives of quiet desperation. Lo and behold, another transcendentalist quotation seems to capture the essence of our modern vexation. It's as if Thoreau knew that in the future you and I would have to act in radical ways to mitigate the sad fact that because we've got to slave to keep our bills paid, sometimes it seems our minds are kind of ripe to get played by the vultures in our culture, only hoping to withhold us from anything any deeper than work while we scold you, buy what we told you, pay what you owe, and we'll ensure you've got a student debt you'll never get over. Soldier. Treating human beings like we're merely skin machines where the cash is. Some sick profiteers' demographics, puppets made of plastic, molded and then mastered, stretched thin as thread, then bled dead into our caskets. Yes, we tried to contrast it by coming off sarcastic, hating the situation because it's so drastic. Many of us huff and puff and snort all kinds of stuff to get blasted, just hoping to deaden the pain from always getting hassled. But we find that action only makes the masses want to act more passive, which keeps their minds inactive to the plans of the fascists who hope to keep you separated by races and genders and classes, because that's the way you maintain the status quo, status as is. But don't let them head fake you. Shake and bake and back, break you down to the ground, come around, clown and undertake you. You got to fight back. And my advice is, use the music and the poetry and the song trapped inside you as your weapon. Do you dig? Do you dig? Do you dig? This is our last song. Sometimes this country that I love doesn't want to think about a subject for more than 10 minutes. It becomes problematic and the brain begins to hurt. We want turkeys done in 1 hour and biscuits done in 5 minutes. So this thing of philosophy, this thing of philosophia, the thing that says wrestle with something for a very long time and let the mind develop what it needs to develop for abstract thinking so we can think our way out of our problems now and in the future. Oh, we get sick of that. We wind up thumbing through stuff. We wind up clicking through stuff. We don't give that to the mind. And I don't know if I can blame us for that. I mean, everybody who's here, we're the inheritors of a go, go, go culture that says, do this, do that, do this, do this. Don't have time to think. I mean, hey, when we even go to the checkout, right? You get no time to think because you got to take a candy bar and a magazine, taking your mind away from your deeper thoughts. And I'm as guilty of it as everybody else. We just need to slow down and understand what philosophy and questioning deeply will give us. And me questioning poetry, which has been the thing which has sustained me. It didn't teach me how to walk on water, but it taught me how to swim. You know what I mean? And the thing that we poets have come to understand after years of questioning is that there are only two truths. There are two things. There's Eros and Thanatos. The Greeks gave us that. There's love and there's death. And we're trying to get the former before the latter catches up with us. So this is for all of us. We 7 billion members of this species who understand that we will one day be consigned to oblivion. And what is it that we really know about what it is to be here? Here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. So where do we come from? Where do we go? What does it mean to question? What does it mean to know? What is this thing we've deemed as reality? I mean, like, is it real? Or just an imagined fallacy that we all have invented from our collective senses? Is this world merely a screen upon which shadows are beamed as they radiate, emanating from a light screen from behind us? Why does space and time seem to confine us? Is there more to us, or are we all just dust floating in this vat of galactic blackness? Does anybody, does anybody, I mean, really know what the fact is? I mean, is there a being listening to prayer? Or are we alone and there's nothing there? I don't know the math, but I know somehow 1 life plus 2 short equals live your life now. Cause here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. I said here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best to figure it out. Wepa! By the way, this is the time that if you decide you want to get up and dance, it's allowed. I mean, hell, we're only going to be here for a little while, right? So we might as well dance. There are those who came along and tried to concentrate us to understand, yes, you're here for a short time before it's out, brief candle. Contemplate kind of what it means to rise above the slime that you evolved from. You know some of their names. Aristotle, Plato, Zeno, and Parmenides, Epicurus, Augustine, Sartre, and Socrates, Bodhidharma, Gautama, Kant, and Protagoras, Kierkegaard, Hegel, Emerson, and Pythagoras. All of them relentlessly question dimensions that make up the makeup of human existence. The manic and the madness, the panic and the sadness, the inner and the outness, the how to be withoutness. The Greeks called us Fanatoy, y'all. Meaning our lives are so brief, we might as well not live at all. But isn't that part of what beauty we possess? The fact that we're born in this flesh means we're all destined for death, and that we're all just borrowing breath that'll pass to another as soon as we've left. The only moments we know we got for sure is what the fates allow. Life is lived quick, so when should we live? 'Cause here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. I said here we are in a sea of stars, somewhere between Venus and Mars. Short-lived hominids hanging about, doing our best just to figure it out. Oh, epa! Dance your life, 'cause it's the only music you will ever have. I said dance your life, 'cause it's the only music you will ever have. Baila su vida, que es la única música que tiene. Baila su vida, que es la única música que tiene. It's the only music you will ever have. Hey, there's your life, 'cause it's the only music you will ever have. The only music you will ever have. Baila su vida, que es la única música que tiene. Oh, baila su vida, que es la única música que tiene. ¡Ah! Najib Kabir on drums, Steve Davis on bass, Steve Lamb on guitar. My name is Regie Gibson. Thank you guys for coming out. Live, learn, and love books.
It was also the same time that there was a shift in real estate, a shift in the corporate nature of the university, you know, just everything, you know, the media changed, the internet, everything changed, you know, by the 90s, you know, and started in the 80s. but it was still like, it was like I got there mid-70s, so it was still kind of a very, like, we're hanging out, and so, and if you were willing to hang out, and I was very good at hanging out, you would meet everybody, so I was lucky. I came at the end of something, and it was a good time.